Hello and welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today I'm not on a rainy Scottish island, but actually on a rainy Caribbean island. But it's not rain season, so it's actually pretty sunny. Well, a few clouds here and there, so it's really, really nice with 23 degrees Celsius. So yeah, I guess 90 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. And today I'm at the Habitation Saint-Etienne. Yes, this here is a French island, and yeah, it's perfect for growing sugarcane. And the Habitation Saint-Etienne is now under the brand of its acronym HSE, and you can actually buy the HSE rum at the Whisky.com shop. So yeah, let's get around and find out how this rum is actually made. The history of the distillery is very, very interesting and actually pretty old for such a remote distillery. It didn't start off as a distillery, and as most of the plants here, it started off as a sugar plant. It was called La Maugée, and yeah, it was like a normal run-of-the-mill sugar plant. It came in, pressed the sugar, boiled it, and crystallized it. But in 1882, called Amédée Aubry, he was an architect, and he actually made a distillery out of it. So he changed the equipment a little bit. The pressing probably was the same, but for the fermentation and distillation, he had to get new equipment. But he was an architect, and he kind of remade the distillery. And this is like it is today, and it is a very 1900s French, really nice looking habitation. And yeah, he didn't have the distillery for that long, but then there was the family Simonet. They bought the distillery and they ran it for 3 generations. So they ran it from, I think it was 1909 until 1979. So it was quite a long time. They built quite a lot new equipment, had a distillation column distills here, and yeah, kind of really made a big business out of it. But in the end, they did sell it to a family called Demois. They do own the distillery of La Favorite, which is kind of down the road, 20 minutes or 15 minutes. And they ran the distillery, but it was not that profitable, so they shut it down. And the distillery was then in a state of nothing for 6 years, and this is when all the distillery equipment broke down. 6 years in a maritime climate with salt in the air and high temperatures is really, really bad for metal equipment. So this is when everything closed down. But it was then reopened as the HSE, the Habitation Saint-Etienne, by a person named José Ayot. And he is also a distillery owner of another distillery. And so he knows his distilling, but he didn't open it as a distillery, as it is actually a protected site. He is not allowed to take out all the equipment and take out in new equipment. So he said, okay, let's just do a maturation in here and have the Habitation, the 40 hectares on the HSE and another 500 hectares more inland. And he also buys a little bit from the local farmers. So they have quite a lot of sugarcane that is actually being produced just for the HSE. And let's go to the other distillery and have a look how the raw spirit is actually made. So this here is the ware's intake. Means here is where the sugarcane comes in. This is not normal for a distillery that is producing traditionnel, because in traditionnel there you produce with molasses. This here is a quality good. This is sugarcane. So they actually do get the sugarcane from the fields. They cut it down, they cut it into pieces and deliver them here into the distillery. You do have normal sugarcane, I would say, body, and you have the leaves which have less of the sugarcane. You have to check then for sugar levels. You take 3 pieces of body and 3 pieces of leaves and put them through a press at the ware's intake, and you get a glass of sugar, juice, and this is then measured how much sugar is in it in the laboratory and right at the site. And they can see, okay, this is the quality that we're dealing with. And so this is the quality check at the intake. They are actually trying to produce or take as much sugarcane as they can straight into the factory, because you don't want to have that stuff lying around, because it's after a day or two it starts to ferment, and you don't want the fermentation yet, because this is an uncontrolled fermentation, not as tasty products coming out there. So yeah, very, very fast you have to get that into the factory and get it pressed. Just to give you a bit of an idea how much that is and how much you have to work with that one caterpillar there. You have to take 500 to 600 tons of sugar cane into the factory per day. The first step is then crushing. It crushes it into a juice, and it produces obviously the juice, which has, I don't know, around 15% of sugar in it. And then you have the bagasse, which is the rest of it, so the kind of the fibers, and they grind it down to a dusty, it's almost like sawdust from a lumber mill, a little bit more lengthy in fiber, but that is then a byproduct, a waste product that they actually do use as fuel for the distillery. So the distillery doesn't use any like big fossil fuels, but they can work on their bagasses. So yeah, this is where you start off with the crushing, and this is where we end up with a nice sugary juice. What we've seen before was the shredding. So you take the sugarcane pieces and shred them into bits. The bits are pretty long and they contain the sugar juice. When you take a normal sugarcane, you can squeeze it, you won't get a drop out of it. Maybe if you're really strong, you can get one drop out of it. If you take the shreds, you can really squeeze it, and there comes out some stuff, some juice. So what we then have is the press. And the press is impressive. It was already run by the steam engine up until 2009. Very impressive. A steam engine from 1934 ran until 2009. So very traditional, but now they actually do have it electric and hydraulics. The press is a 4-roller mill, so you have 2 stages of pressing and 2 counterweights and guiding rolls. So 4 rolls, and the pressure on the 4 rolls is actually 600 tons of pressure that takes out the juice. So you take out the juice out of the cane, and you get left with a fiber with a juice of 14% of sugar, and with a lot of dry fiber, but that still contains a lot of sugar. So what you do is you add a lot of water, dilute it, and send it into the second stage of the press, and that gives you about 7% of sugar juice, 7% of sugar in the sugar juice. Actually, it is viable to do a third one. They do it here, and you get about 1.5% of sugar juice. After that, they call it bagasse, which is the leftovers, which are very dry, a little bit hot because of the pressure, and this is then burned to produce steam, and the steam is used in the distillation. So a very, I would say, ecological process. Yeah, let's follow the juice and see how the rum was made. The fermentation, the fermentation, is done in these big, huge steel tanks. They have 5 mother tanks, which are just there for multiplying the yeast. So they are just filled with yeast and sugar juice, and just ferment and get mixed for 5 hours to multiply the yeast. The actual fermentation is done in these big tanks with 44,000 liters. Some of them are a bit smaller, and they ferment for 24 hours. And the thing is, if you think sugarcane, you think about lots of sugar. They actually dilute it down a lot. So they have about 7% of sugar in there. So it is a lot less sweet as you have with the mash that we have with the whiskey. So this here then only produces 4% of alcohol. But if you imagine they have 26 big tanks of 44,000 liters of volume, and they have 4% of alcohol in that, that gives you a bit of an idea of how much they actually produce here. In terms of volume, you'd have to halve it by 2 if you'd compare it to a Scotch whiskey distillation in comparison in size. Yeah, let's get in and see how they're doing the distillation. So here's the distillation. They have 3 column stills between 1.5 meters and 1.5 meters in diameter. That is, I think, what is it, 4 foot to 5 foot or something like that. Yeah, 5 foot, about that. And so they go in about 2/3 of the height with their vin de sucre, so the wine of sugar. And it comes in with about 60 degrees Celsius, gets heated up by some heat exchangers, and it flows down the copper the plates, the stainless steel plates, and get met with hot steam that is being inserted at the bottom. And this hot steam then heats up all this alcohol water mixture, and we get a good separation all over the 7 plates. Yeah. At the bottom we have the bad wine, I think wine nas or something like that. That is just bad wine. That is discarded, no alcohol. Yeah, that is the waste. And at the very, very top, we take the alcohol vapors out of the column still. And this is not a very tall column still. This is, I would say, 1.5 stories. This is very small. If you compare it to Americans, which have 3 or 4 or 5 buildings high column stills, or even the Irish have them, some as well, really tall. So it's a small one. So it's a bit more flavor in them, not as high. So the alcohol vapors up there go through the heat exchangers, take out the energy, and they come out here at 28 degrees Celsius. And Celsius as in temperature. As in alcohol, we have about 75% alcohol. Let's have a try. Yeah, pretty round for 75% alcohol rum. And I like it. It has that typical rum flavor. So it's really round. I really don't know why, but they make the magic, they make it happen, and I like it. It's really good. So after that, this is really the final product. They don't have any feints or foreshots. It's just not what they have. It works well with them, and this goes into dilution, deconcentration, and that is basically the white rum that is produced. Let's have a look how that goes into the casks. I'm here at the cellar number 7, so it's big stone walls, and it is kind of nicer in here. It feels a little bit colder, and the thing is, it's still a tropical climate. It's not a maritime tropical climate. We are inland on the island, so you feel a bit of the maritime air, but it's not very influential on the rum. The tropical climate, the hotness is most influential thing here. You have usually it's 26 to 33 degrees Celsius. It can go down usually to 23 in winter, or in really cold winters 15 degrees, but that is really the coldest it gets around here. So it is kind of hot all around the year for maturing, and that results in a lot of Angel's share. So you lose about 10% per year. If you have a really dark and cold corner, you can go down to 8%, but that is it, and you cannot really improve that. So there's a lot lost to evaporation. So let's have a look at how it is matured. It's very interesting, as they don't use that much used cask, but actually they do use a lot of fresh casks. These 2 casks here, they come from America. This is a charred barrel, and this is a fresh barrel, and so they do store in fresh American white oak, which is kind of standard. And then we do also have French oak. So the French oak a little bit more spicy and a little bit more intense, and also the staves are a bit thicker, but also a bit bigger, so less surface area. And so French oak, also fresh oak, and this is the most of the rum done. Some of the rum, the normal rum, is at least 3 years old. Then we have the VSOP, which is more than 4 years, and the XO, the extra old, is more than 6 years old. Really, please don't compare this to cognac. They have different XOs, different years. So this is the rum standard XO is above 6 years. And yeah, they have a lot of casks here, and this is the normal thing, and then you have some special editions. Here you have a port wine cask, so this is not a fresh cask, this had port wine in it before, and we have here a bit of a smaller cognac cask. To give you a little bit of an idea, I said there are 9 warehouses here. The distillery sells about 1.5 million liters of rum per year, which is quite a lot. And all is overseen by a cellar master, and he is actually responsible. He's like the master blender in the Scotch industry. So he is responsible for keeping the quality, checking, having a look at what is going into what casks and how is that matured, is it already good, and he is the guy for really the finished liquid. Talking about the finished liquid, they have an excellent water source here for then diluting it before it goes into the cask, and they have an excellent water source for diluting it down to bottling strength, and they are bottling their own rum in their own bottling facility. And I'll have a bit of B-roll in here. And that is really nice that they're shipping out pallets of bottles and not barrels or to be bottled somewhere else. So this was it with the production. This is when the product finally gets into the bottle, and let's have a bit of a try of that rum. So this was it with the production, and let's have a little bit of an interview with Sophie Puchevant.
Yes.
You've been 5 years head of the tourism here, so thank you very much for having us at the distillery.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, it was so beautiful and such nice weather, and a little bit hot. So you first supplied me with a nice drink. What is that?
This is a tea punch.
Tea punch.
This is the traditional breuvage here in Martinique. And this is lemon, sugar, and HSE rum. We use it for today, HSE rum. But
So this is really Martinique traditional.
okay, let's try.
Oh,
You
strong.
like it? Yes, it's
Strong and
strong.
intense.
Yes. And with the sugar, you have to be careful because the alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sugar and alcohol is a bit strong.
Yes.
Okay, so I've seen a lot about the casks and the production and the rum, and how many HSE rums are there?
We have around 20 different bottles, white, amber, and also a large brand of old rum, very old and extra old.
Okay, so 20 different kind of rum. That is quite a lot. That is. So we are only having 2 white and two dark rums today.
Yes.
Okay, so which one white do you want to start?
Okay, here, so you have the classic white in our brand, and this is here vintage 2018.
Okay.
So the difference between both, first is this is the vintage, but also the time of reduction. You know, reduction, it's when we add water to degrees.
Yeah, to lower the alcohol level.
Yes. And here it's around 6 months, here it's more than 2 years.
So this has been resting in the tank at, what was it, 75% alcohol in the tank for 3 years?
Yes, more than 2 years. Okay, so here the attack is stronger, but here the complexity of the rum is stronger. You have more flavor.
Oh, this is a bit sharp. This is very round. So how much? This is 50 and 50.
Yes, the same degrees. Just the reduction time is different.
This is night and day.
Different tasting.
I really didn't understand up until now what a good white rum is. So this, the 2018, that is good. Okay, let's have a try.
So we won't do that every year. We only do that the best vintage, and we keep for this vintage the best part of this.
Okay.
To have the best expression of this vintage.
So you said we have 20 rums. So how many white rums and how many dark rums are there?
We have around, it depends of the year, but around 4 or 5 white different. And we have 4 amber, but all the other rum are old. So we have very plenty different type of old rum, because we used plenty different type of barrels, and so yeah, we will see that just after.
So a bit of a question. You said we had, as in the warehouse, we had fresh casks, fresh American, fresh French casks. So, and you only use fresh. So what do you do with the used casks?
Usually we sell it. We have some partnership with Whisky, for example, Whisky house. So we share, or we sell this barrel. Otherwise, we can decorate this barrel for our partner in France, like people who sell our bottle.
Okay, so you sell them off and you have fresh casks. That is good amount of cost. But I like the.
Which one do you prefer?
I do prefer the 2018.
Yeah.
That is
more
really
sweet.
good.
You smell the fresh cane.
And this has never been in a cask.
No, otherwise you have color.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, but this is very round for.
But the reduction is very important part.
Yeah,
very
reduction.
important. If you do this too quickly, it's not good.
I think yes, it has probably something to do with oxidization and was it the cellar master or the master distiller knows about it, but this is really good. I like the 2018 one. Okay, so what are we gonna have with the aged rums?
Okay,
fresh glasses.
So now let's try the Black Sheriff, which is one of our best rum.
Okay.
This one is from American barrels.
And it
so
is
fresh American barrels.
at least 3 years old.
3 years old.
Ah, okay.
So VO, very old.
Ah, okay.
Look at the color. It's very strong.
3 years, tropical climate is is a good amount of maturation.
So inside the barrel, it's very burnt.
Okay, so it's charred, the alligator
That's
char.
why you have some vanilla flavor.
Oh,
It's
that
very
has
charming.
a lot of vanilla in there. That is very sweet. Caramel, vanilla.
And spicy.
And spicy, yeah. But still a bit of a fruity touch, a bit of a sweet rum touch also in there. But a lot more vanilla than I'm used to of the Scotch or even the bourbon, I think.
Like the bourbon, because that's the same recipe as bourbon, the same barrels.
Oh yeah, it's the same barrels from the same cooperage.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so cheers.
Cheers. How we say in German?
Oh, Prost.
Okay.
Okay. I was about to say, if that is 50%, that is 40%.
That's right.
So this is an AOC rum. So what does AOC stand for?
AOC means rum, means that it comes from Martinique, because we have the only one in the world. aussi. This is document which manage all steps of the production, from the yield to the commercialization.
Okay, so I think AOC is really, if you stand for AOC, then you have a quality product, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I do like it. It's really a nice, very sweet rum. I like it.
Yes. American barrels gives some
and yeah, the American
flavor,
barrels is so
sweet flavor.
And so smooth. It's really, it's a bit dangerous because it's so easy.
Too easy, yes.
Yeah, it's a bit easy. That's a bit too. And then you drinking half the bottle.
Then the second one is more than 6 years. XO means in Martinique for the rum more than 6 year aging. And after 6 years, we pass in French barrel.
Oh, okay.
So French barrel, you have more
the Quercus robur, the name of the tree, the Latin name, and isn't it like really spicy? Oh, okay.
You have more fineness and longer length.
Okay. Okay, so what when you said 6 years in American and then French, so over 6 years, that is really old for Caribbean rum.
This is a blend of different year between 6 and 20 years old. So majority it's French barrel.
Okay, that is really old. And
so very different than this one.
Yeah,
for the age and also for the wood.
And more pricey. And so with 6 or 7, 8, 10 years, isn't it like the barrel like half empty?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so you've lost like half of the production.
Yes, but we do something that we call houillage. Houillage means that we sacrifice one barrel to fill the other one.
Okay, then
the barrel full.
Full. Okay, so you take it from the same barrel into another barrel.
Yes,
okay.
For the same vintage.
Same vintage. Okay, yeah, that is allowable. That's good. Okay. Oh, yeah, that reminds of what is it?
Spirit is time. With time, even for white, we saw before. For old, that's the same. You just need to wait to have something delicious.
That is, I would say, Christmas cake. Yeah, like raisins, and that reminds me of my grandma when she used to bake. Oh, that is nice.
Yes.
Oh, that is really nice. Ooh, but it has a spiciness to it, like cinnamon or red pepper. Oh, that is good. That is nice.
I'm happy to you like it.
Oh, I like it. So this is like really, but is there anything older than that, or is that like?
Oh yes, we have 3 single cask. Single cask means that after 6 years, we can identify vintage which is better than the others. And after maybe 10 years, 15 years, we decide to keep apart, to keep a part of this vintage and numerate the different barrel. That's why we can bottle at different time to see the aging of this vintage. We call that single cask.
And how many bottles do you have of one cask? How much?
Around 1,000.
Oh, 1,000. So
yes,
it's
that's
small batch.
production.
Okay.
And so we have 2006, That's the new one, 2003, and 98.
98. Okay, that is now 26 years old. That is old for rum.
Yes.
I like it. So, Sophie, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. And if you found these rums very interesting, have a look at Whisky or Whisky.com or Whisky.de. We do sell them in our shop. Have a look if these rums, not whiskies, are the right type for you. And yeah, thank you very much for watching and see you next time.